But as someone who works primarily on children's education, I've always wondered, there seems to be a crossover between when you're really little and you're learning and you're taking in the colours and learning numbers and the alphabet, and you're told you can be anything. Like, when I grow up, I want to be a dinosaur, you know. But there is a period where you're sort of told that, you need to start thinking more realistically. At what point do you sort of have to stop telling little kids they can do whatever they want, and now we need to actually really study and blah, blah, blah? And we tell them that through education as parents, you know. But why do we stop telling our kids that they can't do everything?
I think children might actually make that transition themselves at some point. They go,
true.
Okay, maybe I can't be an astronaut, or maybe I can't be a dinosaur.
Yeah.
And I guess, when you're entering school, that's when you're exploring different subjects and you're learning your strengths and you're learning your interests and what you're naturally sort of want to take in that direction. And so I feel like children might sort of find their own way there.
It might be just before university. That might be the latest point at which you can
I think I remember in year 12 being given this sort of, like, it was a diagram.
Oh, yeah.
And then you sort of point to your favourite thing. And for me, it was music. And then it had all these sort of branches of what career I could take based on my interest there. And they're like, right, okay, so choose your career. Oh, okay. I guess I'm going to be a classical musician. I'm quite good at music. And so it was a strange sort of sudden, I have to make a decision now.
It happened all of a sudden.
Yeah,
right.
yeah. I mean, we had the flexibility and the freedom to be able to choose our favourite subjects.
Yep.
But I remember it did come to a point where they sort of said, okay, guys, well, university's next, so what are you going to choose?
I see it seems like the schooling system goes from being very general and broad, and as you go through primary and secondary, and then by the time you get to tertiary, it's very specific. It's like it's starting to whittle you down to what you want to eventually do. So it's kind of like a siphon. So you've got, in primary, it's just a smorgasbord. You're going to try this, you're going to try this, you're going to try this, you're going to try this. And perhaps it's kind of like, if you never play soccer, you're never going to know if you like it, and you're never going to know if you're good at it. Whereas if you try everything, if you try chemistry, if you try maths, if you try ancient history, you might realize, I'm pretty good at such and such. And they would have never known until they tried it. So it feels like it's a smorgasbord of all the different varieties. And then by the time you get to secondary school and you have to start choosing some subjects later on, you kind of, I guess they want you to have kind of an idea. That's kind of what your question was, Simon. It's like,
exactly.
When do they know?
Yeah.
And so by the time you finish that and you get to the end of year 12, they are hoping that you are like, I'm going to do this at university. But it doesn't always pan out. I mean, I remember being in year 12 like, what's next?
I remember the career advisor is like, right, what are you going to do for the rest of your life? And I'm like, I don't know. I have no idea.
We let you try everything. Which ones do you like? Nah.
None of the above. Yeah.
None of the above.
Well, yeah, and even that's, what are you going to choose for the rest of your life? That's silly because you can change your
Now
mind
it's
at
different.
any point.
Yeah.
And I'd never stopped sort of believing that I could do my, realize my dream.
Yeah.
And there were many points in the journey when I was like, maybe this is a bit silly and I'm being unrealistic, and maybe I should get a real job.
Was that in the morning? Those decisions, those what do you call it? Those ideas tend to happen in the morning, I was told.
What the light bulb moment type
like
things.
the one side of your brain is active in the morning, goes, right, you have to do this and this and this and this. And then by 2 o'clock in the morning, the creative side is like, hey, I got an idea for a song at 2 o'clock in the morning. And then you're writing it down.
Yep. I know about
Yep.
that.
Okay, there we go.
That does happen a lot, actually.
Yes.
Yes, you're lying all toasty and warm in bed late at night. I need a pen and
brain's like,
paper.
Hello, got an idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it was in the morning. I remember I woke up, must have been like 6 a.m. or something. And I was like, I know what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. I just knew.
Oh.
Yeah, it was quite amazing. And then I was like, well, because I'd sort of like I'd done classical music. That was my thing.
Yeah.
And it just never really sat right with me. And I think maybe it was because I just didn't fit into that competitive environment so much.
Yeah. That was another thing I was going to mention about this competitive environment that the Finnish, is it from Finland?
Yeah.
And they emphasize comradeship over competitiveness.
Yes.
Well, that reminded me of when I was at university doing some management course on how to manage your workers, your developers.
Mm-hmm.
And so instead of telling your developer, right, you need to do this, and then you got to do this and this, task oriented. Or, oh yeah, I saw what you did last time. This is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong. That's actually the worst way you can speak to a developer, because it just makes them feel like crap, and it just makes them not want to, because you have to kind of be creative when you're a developer, because you have to work out the algorithm or whatever it is. And so instead, and I noticed that my bosses were doing this, they're like, that is amazing. Now, if we can get this and this and this to happen, that would be great. Do you think you can do that? I know you can do that because you're the best developer we've got.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. You're doing the same thing. You're getting the same out of them. But the other one, they feel like Superman.
Yeah.
So it's like how you approach it. And if they're doing that in Finland with their kids, I mean, just the engagement alone would just be our system just needs work.
But to have those life skills as
the life skills
as a young
Everything.
person, you'd appreciate how to engage with people and be able to get more out of them.
Yeah.
Everyone
Hugely.
wins. Yeah.
Social skills are so important in the workforce and
Quite lacking actually in the real world as well.
Yeah, and I mean, when you're sort of taught to just look out for yourself and try and hustle your way to the top, I don't think that's
well, maybe there should be subjects at school, etiquette, how to engage with people, what's the tax system? I know there's commerce, but just some basic stuff about just how the world works.
Practical life skills.
Work,
Yeah.
Because otherwise, if you are relying on society to do that, I think maybe just general best practices. How to manage your finances in the beginning from the point of view of a student, rather than commerce or balance sheet. That's fine if you go to work for a financial firm later on. But what about you as a student?
Yes.
You as a university student, you're going for a new car loan. You're going to do this, to that. Where are your resources? That could be very helpful.
I think so. I didn't feel very prepared for the real world after I left school.
Yeah.
Neither
did I. I was just like, see you later.
No, and
Bye.
I'm just grateful that I had, supportive parents who could guide me and
there it is. See, it's the parents that bring up the school system.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
And they're both teachers in public schools, ironically.
There you go.
Oh, wow.
There you
Keep it
go.
in the family, as they say.